Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dragon Cast. I'm your host, Malachi, the irascible staff modder troublemaker, probably leader. I don't know. And today I am joined by many staff members.
MHR.
Ryan.
Kaio.
I'm Zal. Hello.
And then I think he got cut off, but Ryan is also here.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So, welcome everybody. It's been a while. I think the last thing we have officially put out was our bowl matches, where we introduced lots of new stuff. But there has also been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. The main thing, of course, and we'll talk about, is our new characters, team shakeups. But first, we're going to talk about we introduced several new staff members to the staff as a whole. The reason for that, and I will let Ryan and Zal talk about this in a moment, is we're hoping to spin up a SparkingZero League. And so we have appointed HeyRyanLetsPlay, our lovable commentator and now former coach of Muscle, Dorgard, one of our other commentators, Zal, and Bad to the Bow. Is that everybody, or am I forgetting anyone?
Buzz.
That's right, Buzz. How could I forget Buzz?
I was gonna say,
Literally moderator. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are looking forward to the work they're doing. They have been very busy behind the scenes, not just figuring out everything there is to know about SparkingZero, but also looking at different, just all the different things. And not only are they doing that for SparkingZero League, but they're also kind of having to learn how we on the main league have been running things behind the scenes. And so I'm just going to turn it over to you guys. Is there anything you kind of want to comment on that?
Yeah, so, well, for one thing, it's been very exciting. But two, of course, keep an eye out for polls and little tiny events or streams to do with SparkingZero in the near future. Of course, it's a new game, so there's lots of balancing to do from both the developers and from us. So, yeah, that's kind of just what we've been working on in the background for the past, since before even since before the bowl came out. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Yeah, and I think there might be a question or two about SparkingZero when we get to the questions thread, but I'll save anything else for that.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, it's been like a lot of like testing. Like we're looking at characters right now that are new to SparkingZero with like the DLCs, and then just characters in general, like Whis and Beerus and people like that, just to like. Right now, that's kind of our big thing, is trying to figure out who might be overpowered. We're doing some, approvals of loans and trades, so it's a learning experience for sure.
Yeah. So on a more fun note for you guys, what has been the biggest surprise about being staff of any sort, whether SparkingZero or BT3 League, or whether it's some interactions you see behind the scenes?
I will point out, okay, this is not actually totally staff related. This is just a SparkingZero thing, but in my testing, Yamcha's a freaking goat. He is amazing.
Yamcha's great in the game.
He's so good. He beats the hell out of so many people. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll give a little background with that as well. I'm currently doing like testing on Jiren just to see like, is Super Jiren too powerful as a starting form? Is Jiren himself too powerful as a starting form? Yamcha, in just fighting in my tests with base Jiren, went 7 and 8.
Nice.
Whereas Jiren against Krillin, Jiren just absolutely crushes Krillin. So like Yamcha being incredibly good was a shock.
Okay.
World's strongest Earthling, baby. World's strongest Earthling.
Yeah, they gotta give him
Yeah.
the love sometime, right? After all the memes.
Exactly. It's about time.
Nice. All right. So, any other comments from Kaio Enemy about our new staff or SparkingZero that you want to bring up?
No, I'm just happy for happy to have some new guys on board, and looking forward to see where they take the SparkingZero League.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm same thing. Like, it's fun having new guys to staff chat messing around with, and seeing all the testing in the background and stuff. So see what's going on. So it's kind of cool to see.
It is. It's fun to see. My favorite thing about being staff has been for a while now, like coming up with new events and letting people have fun with them. And I am really enjoying seeing you guys spin up SparkingZero League, and in part is because someone else can share the pain that I felt with all the testing. The testing dungeon has more than just me in it now, so it's great. But yeah, so let's get to some of the other new stuff we had. We introduced 35 new characters for use within the league. And things didn't quite go the way I would have liked for a lot of reasons. In part, like we commissioned a modder to add the new slots. The slots parts works, fixed some other bugs that we had, and that works great. But we're still not quite there where we can actually use it for the league because Pataras don't work. However, that does not in any way detract from my excitement to see new characters like General Rildo, Gamma 1 and 2, Kale, Caulifla, MUI Goku, Hit, Dispo, Topo, Bergamo, Adult Chi-Chi, Vegeta Jr., Goku, let's see, who else? Naze, Orange Piccolo, Chilled, Rage Shenron, Ice Shenron, Orange Piccolo, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Zamasu, Goku Black. Let's see, who else? I'm just going off the top of my head here. Oh yeah, Giant Early Piccolo too. Just tons and tons of new characters that should help us. Oh yeah, and we also have Beerus, Whis, Shallot, and Shallot from Legends at the very end there. Lots of things to make this upcoming season very fresh. It's gonna be wild. So just everybody here, who's been the favorite reveal so far?
Oh, for me, obviously, it's Gamma 1 and 2, because I was the one who wanted it originally. So,
Yep.
I want more justice.
What about you, Ryan?
I don't remember all of them. I do know Muscle got Kale, so like I'm always happy with that. But no, it's like some of those were just absolute shockers to see. Like I didn't ever think we were gonna see, the hypothetical fusion of Goku. Like that's just fun.
Well, we might not see it depending on how the testing's been going.
Yeah. Boo Saga has definitely been struggling with him, but yeah, keep going, Ryan.
One of my, because it was that, and I believe the hypothetical fusion of Tiensha back from the original Budokai 2, and I just absolutely loved seeing Hercule, and especially in his handsome form too. Like, just one of the silliest fusions, but like incredibly fun. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Hybrids will spend some time on Goku for a little bit at least, if Dora doesn't want him.
I'm sure they'll look forward to something new. Kaio, what about you? Zal, go ahead.
Yeah, it goes out.
So obviously Super GT. Raid Shenron has been an absolute joy to have.
Mhm.
But the other, General Rildo was one that I never expected, but was very happy to see. Very, very happy to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice pull for us.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Kyle?
I gotta say, Kale Khalifa.
Shocker.
Yeah. If I'm nothing, if not consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But no,
so
it's just cool that we're able to throw in characters that, came into existence like 15, 20 years after this game was even a thing. So it's just cool to grab people from totally different things that you never would think would be in it.
It is. Yeah, like for me, I think I had several that I really enjoyed the fact that we could do them. Like I was really happy that we could do Bergamo and Giant Bergamo. And then I also enjoyed pulling from. He wasn't my first choice, but I did enjoy the fact we could pull in Shallot and Shallot. Toshiro really wanted that DB Legends representation, and I'm really happy to pull in stuff from the wider DBZ canon. So some of that what if area, like Shallot, Super Saiyan 3, Vegeta, Goku, it gives a really good flavor to the league, and something that I wish BT4 would have done. But I can understand why they went in the direction they did. So, yeah.
I was just sad some things are on the cutting floor. If you don't care if I say one, it's up to you now.
Go for it, because, you never know when things may be reused in the future.
Well, I wanted Saiyaman 2, aka Sword Saiyaman. Sword Trunk Saiyaman.
Yeah, yeah. I think the main thing there was just the audio. That was the main killer for it. And dear God, we need to shout out Vive, who helped us so freaking much. This would not have been possible without Vive. We reused a lot of available assets on modding sites to get this done. It was the only way, and even then, Vive carried a lot of the audio work so freaking much to help us get this across the finish line. I cannot give him enough credit for helping do a lot of that. I did a lot of the balancing work, and there's some stuff that didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. And at this point, I'm just like, if I don't need to touch it, I won't. Just because people have been testing, and I don't want to I don't like messing with testing. But
right,
yeah.
Definitely a big thank you to him.
Yep.
Yo, yeah, for sure.
So I'll also shout out to Geom, who did. Geom did a few of the animations. Like he really worked on Hit and Whis and Goku. Like he got the trick beam to do the little janky part.
That's great.
Squiggle.
Yeah, the little
tilt.
squiggle. He also got Whis's ult. Like the default mod just kind of reused Nom's neck chop for Whis. Geom made it a little more faithful to how it should be done. He also did the barrier for Whis to kind of make it a little more faithful to where Whis just kind of taps the ground with his staff. So big shout out to Geom for that and helping.
Yeah, and also with his mods for SparkingZero.
Yeah, he's been very busy helping with that as well.
Yes, I was about to say shout out Geom for his incessant work on creating mods for SparkingZero. Brother does not stop. He does not sleep. It's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, so as I kind of alluded to earlier, just the modder we commissioned, they're in the midst of getting ready to prep like their dissertation level stuff, and so like they haven't had a chance to finish up the actual ISO, that finish up the last few bugs on the ISO that has, the expanded character slots, the expanded map slots, and all the bug fixes. Like the biggest thing right now is Pataras don't work. I've just been in contact.
That's a feature. That's not a bug.
Well, you say that, but with how the my modding mayhem idea that I've talked with several people about will work, that won't be a problem. But all that to say, like because we've had to work around that, one of the things we did this off season was we did a very early blind character pickup right after the bowl, so that teams could lock in characters. They could take a gamble on new characters to see how they would do. So we had a fair number of shakeups and teams that dropped characters, and another team sniping those pickups. So we've had a ton of shakeups. Like I think every team has had at least one drop. Androids I know picked up. They dropped Android 16 for General Rildo. They dropped Android 19 for Android 19 for Metacooler. Budokai is almost a completely new team at this point. So
Cold has Nappa and Chilled.
Yeah, Cold has Nappa and Chilled.
Sentai picked up
and
yeah, true actually, yeah. Sentai picked up a whole bunch of new people.
Yeah, Sentai, I think they just, correct me if I'm wrong, Enemy, but Sentai now has Ultimate Gohan again for Jiren.
Yes.
So
yes.
But they also picked up Topo, Dispo, that's going to be, and Gamma 1. So they're going to be a very fun team to watch. Rugrats got Vegeta Jr. Hybrids dropped Kid Gohan for Saiyaman. Boo Saga dropped Spopovich and Evil Boo for Adult Gohan and Goku. I think that's right.
Namek got Orange. Got Orange Piccolo.
Namek got Orange Piccolo. Derp got Ice Shenron. Earth Defenders got Mastered Ultra Instinct Goku. Kaiju got Bergamo and Tapion. So,
I was saying Derp got Burger as well.
So. Yeah, Derp got Burger as well. Like this is going to be a ridiculously new season. So
yeah.
And then that's not to mention there's a few FA locked characters. Royals is now pretty much Team Vegeta. They've got Scouter, King, Majin, Goku Black, and who else? Who is the other one? Pilaf. So
can't forget Pilaf.
Yeah.
Oh please, he's not going to get used.
He gets used every year as a big bag of money.
It is a huge money bag.
Well, they've kind of played that card already. Pilaf, he may not be used, but he will be keeping that FA bench very warm for them.
Yes.
But yeah, so is this all that to come back around and say, if you're not in our Discord and you're just kind of wondering what's going on, like it is absolute chaos. And for the last season of BT3, of what is likely to be the last season of BT3 at least, I am not involved with the SparkingZero stuff. I am going to leave that decision up to our SparkingZero people. But as far as I'm aware, it is our last season of BT3, and I am going to enjoy the fact that it is going to go out with a bang.
Chaos.
And lots of chaos. I am loving it. I hope everybody else enjoys it. It does mean we on staff have had to be a little more active about making sure that things are balanced. We have been actively soliciting for feedback from teams on an ongoing basis to say, hey, when you're looking at testing, are there teams that seem overpowered? Are there teams that seem underpowered?
What's wonky?
What's wonky? Like I will say, I did my best to make characters fit within the league meta, and tried to make it so that there was no one too overpowered. And for the most part, I think we got where we wanted. There's been a couple surprise hits in our testing. I'm going to shout out our testing channel. We'll probably be having some featured tests coming back up soon. Now that it's been a while and people are done with the holiday, we're well done with the holidays now, and people are settling into regular life again. And hopefully we'll be able to bring that for y'all to enjoy. So. But yeah, I have talked way too much on this topic. What are some of y'all's thoughts?
For myself, I'm happy. It's nice to get some real shakeups, and we did need this large amount of characters to do it. I know some teams have felt that things got a little stagnant for teams, and trades and loans weren't as impactful in the teams as some would have liked. So I think this does a really good job of mixing things up for this potentially last season.
Yeah. I will mention that. This is likely, as you guys were mentioning, the last season for BT3 as like a main thing. I think there's a lot of interest, and SparkingZero staff also has some interest. It's not a done deal by any means yet, but there's interest in having BT3 kind of maintain as almost like a similar to a minor league situation, but not exactly a minor league situation. But we still would like to keep BT3 around because we just got 35 new characters. And I think a lot of people still have, it's difficult when you're testing Orange Piccolo, and he's only been around for one off season. So it's hard to figure everything out for a character in one off season. So I'm sure there's lots of playing around that teams would still like to do with these new characters. So that's a potential for an idea for SparkingZero League as well.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun seeing a lot of drop ads, and it's funny seeing what was it, all the contention matches and stuff, like with boos and hybrids, those guys. It's kind of fun to watch and see how they go. And also, man, I was kind of sad that obviously it was on team mode then, but I'm like, damn, man, if we had Bird Dispo, it would been an awesome duel, like a melee duo, for like.
That's true. That would have been cool. The speedsters together, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so impressive. Melee would be insane. And
my thoughts basically echo Kaio's. It's nice that we have such a shakeup because 2023, 2024 season, it was like, there were like 3 loans, and maybe a trade. Other than that, half of the team stayed exactly the same. And so it was, they beat them with this team last year, so they're probably going to beat them with this team this year. So having like each team get a brand new character that isn't an FA, that, we're then actually seeing a lot of changes within each team, I think will be beneficial for the 2025 season.
Yeah, and that's not to mention that some of the Patara changes that people are finally able to really get their heads around and test with. Like we've seen a lot of people, I think, make Broken Glow work, for example. As I said, this coming year is going to be chaos, and I love it. So. All right.
I laugh at the Halo thing with Tingo on, and like I copied it with Vidal. It's cooking right now with Vidal. I kind of love it. I tried Breakable a bunch of times, but didn't seem to want to work. So I just went full Halo, and then it seems to do better. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, any other comments on the new characters or any of the 2025 changes that are coming up?
Other than GT is now Super GT, no, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, no, we expanded GT to basically be anything post Z, so they get access to all the super characters, and it gave them a several teams now have very sizable master lists. So trading,
Yeah, it's hefty.
yeah,
We had fun with that.
we did.
So much fun.
Master list discussions.
Other big change, Budokai was changed to include participation in any tournament.
Yep.
Earth Defenders to fought as a Z fighter in the post Dragon Ball era.
Yep.
And the other ones were pretty much just based off of who we added to their already established themes.
Yeah.
Quick question on that Earth Defenders one. Would that mean that Final Form Free or Golden Frieza technically qualifies as an Earth Defender?
No, because he never established himself as a Z fighter.
Yeah,
he was there begrudgingly.
He was there begrudgingly, and he was there. He was basically there as a mercenary. He was not there because he was now buddy with Goku and friends.
He was there for his own reasons, not because he actually cared about anyone or the team or.
Yeah.
True. Bro wanted to pay out, and that's
Exactly.
cool, I guess.
Yeah. So, cause like the first chance he got, like he then just came back as Black Frieza and beat down Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, just with a one shot. So he is definitely not a friend of the team yet. At the rate things are going, who knows where we'll be in 5 years. So, but yeah, let's go on to our questions. First up, we have Snuffy Sam. I can't imagine we're getting any more modded characters, but if we were, which Daima characters would you most want to mod in?
No more modded characters as of this moment.
Yeah.
Hey, Malachi, could you point me in the direction as to where all these questions are? I can't seem to find them in the Discord.
DragonCast questions at the very bottom of DBZL public discussion.
Yep.
Okay, looking. I see it. Okay, thank you.
Can I be snarky for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
We presciently added Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. We had the in-depth leaks.
No, so true. Honestly, so freaking true.
Oh man, that was hype. Honestly, I would probably want to add. The only one I am somewhat interested in is Kid SS4 Goku.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that would be the only one worth adding. It may be SS3 Kid, Vegeta.
Going away from the obvious answers, because that would be my answer too. I think Pansy would be fun.
Yeah.
That help out Rugrats a bit as well. So Tosh isn't here, but I'll help him out a little with this.
He'd just say, he'll just call dibs on Super Saiyan 4 Goku,
He already doesn't use Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Well, now he could potentially start as Super Saiyan 4 Goku. He couldn't in the past.
All I know is I don't have to worry about making that decision.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'd say Pansy.
I'm not really able to add much of anything because I haven't seen Daima because I'm waiting for it to be dubbed. But I think I did see a clip of there's a potential new fusion mechanic that can happen. So if they end up having a 3-person fusion, that'd be kind of cool to see.
Yep.
That would be cool.
That would be. Yeah. What about you, Zal?
Honestly, I feel like the new. I'm very bad with names. I've only seen each episode once. What do you call them? The ones who look very similar to Kaio Shin, like to Supreme Kai.
Yeah.
Oh, his brother and
his brother and sister.
Yes, his brother and sister. I think they would be. They could have some interesting movesets, especially because we only have one of like Supreme Kai.
Yeah.
So nobody's totally nobody has a very similar moveset to him. He's a very unique character, and I feel like they could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The I think it's the Gendarmerie Force or something like that.
Their version of the Ginyus.
Yeah, that would also be fun. Especially because they had guns. Like we don't see that often in Dragon Ball.
Strapped.
So
that's part of the reason why Pansy, because she has a gun too.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
Any other comments? All right, hearing none, we will move on. From Geom, and can we have an in-depth answer on every Master List decision for those characters, specifically by Kaio?
No.
You know we're gonna probably have to play that after Geom's question or in sync with it, right? Just so people. So for those who don't know, we posted a joke short. Specifically talking about Kaio and Master Lists. So
it's just to get it out there. All right.
Yeah.
Why this pisses me off so much when it's brought up all the time is because a lot of times the submissions are not actually for characters that would fit it. It's for people trying to make their teams better with bullshit reasons or things that just don't make sense. So having to go over that since season 3 of the old league and hearing the same arguments made or even more stupid arguments than previously, it gets old.
Yeah.
Brother's been doing it for over a decade. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean there really are some people who are well-meaning. They're trying to do things and make things better for the league. And then there's some people who are just being pedantic about because sometimes the game just gives us limitations that we have to work with. Like there's several people who have argued very passionately that Kid Goku should not be on Rugrats because some of his moveset incorporates elements from when he's like 16 fighting King Piccolo. And it's like, yes, that's true, but the game also uses this character to represent all of Dragon Ball up to when Goku becomes an adult. Like, sometimes you've just got to work with what the game gives you. And then there's other times where you've just got to make a decision about, like, a good example is, like, we've had back and forth discussions about, like, okay, which Vegeta should be on Resurrected Warriors? Like, does mid Vegeta count? Does Scouter count? And it's not clear from the game, even from how the game behaves at times, like when that decision should be made. Like, I think, like for our purposes, we basically counted Scouter for Resurrected Warriors and basically said when he died, he was Scouter Vegeta. When he came back, he was mid or something like that. And we just had to make a choice on which Vegeta to add because it's you've just got to work with the limitations you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of arbitrary like points of like when is mid and when is end or whatever. It's like really weird. Like, and they can't make everyone happy, So.
Yep, can't make everyone happy, and not gonna try. It's not worth it. Like sometimes you just got to make a decision and live with it.
Yeah.
So
no. You'll break your back if you're no need to break your back bending over for every little thing. It's just not worth it.
Yep.
Nope.
All right, next question from Armed Roz. After that last short, will Kaio personally give the next person asking for Master List extensions the heart virus that killed Goku?
Yes.
Okay.
That was fast.
Yep. Next question. I don't think there's anything else to add there.
Nope.
No mercy.
Yep. From Fat Happy, how does the cast feel about the performances of the modded characters that have been picked up by teams? Any standouts?
S3 Vegeta.
Rildo.
Rildo, Goku Black.
Yeah.
UI Goku as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I think I'm happy with the performances.
Yeah. I'm generally happy with where they came out. Like there's a couple people I said are doing better than I anticipated. Rildo is one, a base Goku Black is another. Although some of that is with base Goku Black, because I've actually had to go back and actually double check him already once. The way Royals have built him is they have really made base Goku Black a glass cannon nuke, where the most short-worthy moments from their tests are usually base Goku Black on Super +2 and Ultra Divine Water. So he has Super +3, and then he just throws out these attacks, and they just do a ton of damage very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then so he has a moment where like he might hit an ult for 20,000 damage because of all the damage boosts he has. But then you miss the test where he does nothing, or he just gets manhandled because he now has 30k health and he just gets hit by an ult and now he can't do anything. That being said, like it was legitimately surprising to me to see him do that well on that build, and have to deal with that. So that's probably been the most standout performance of any of the characters, just because big number make you go, oh, scary.
I actually think I would bring up Caulifla. Actually, she's been pretty strong, pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, her melee is ridiculous, man. She went toe-to-toe with Ultimate Gohan, dude. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got that Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan teen combos. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool looking, like a dreidel. It's going crazy.
Yep, she's been good. Like I think she had a lot of really good tests early on, and she's kind of been, at least from the few tests I've seen since in the last few weeks. Shout out to the testers, by the way. They have cranked out so many tests.
Yeah.
Like it feels like she has mostly fallen off until this last week, where she had that really good test against Ultimate Gohan. But yeah, as I said, for the most part, like I tried. One of the things I did to try and help me make characters fit within the league meta at a pretty consistent level is, especially for B2s, I kind of put them in stat blocks. So like if they do less than 6k damage with a B2, it's 2 bars, up then from 6k to 7500 it's 3, and above 7500 it's 4, and then ults were 4 or 5, just kind of depending on whatever random mechanics the game chose for that. And that really helped a lot. And I feel like most of the characters ended up doing about like I expected them to. So, yeah. Any other comments?
I just wish Gamma would stop firing his B2s like 20 miles away. It would be nice.
No, he will do it forever.
Hey, just
learn to snipe.
Just get him to spam his ult. That's all you need. Spam the ult.
Yeah, no. He doesn't want to do it though. I just gave him Savior. He still doesn't want to do it. Like, I don't know what. Hey, we'll make a one. I'll figure it out.
Tien or Yajirobe.
I was going to say always Tien. Yep. When in doubt, Tien.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next question from D3. Are we going to see any SparkingZero teaser streams during the regular season this year?
At least as of right now, I'm still planning on, going through just like the story modes. it's not overly consistent, but like right now we're still going through Goku's. We got in the last stream that I did into his the end of the Z saga, so we'll be getting the Super. In terms of like league specific stuff, that I don't know.
One of those things where, you know, as time passes and there's more of an idea of how the league's going to shape up, probably that'll be when it's more likely to get something like that. Just a little early right now.
Exactly. It's pre-alpha, pre-beta, pre at the moment. So give us some time, and we'll get back to you.
we're still also, because we got the superhero DLC, but there's still 2 other DLCs, correct?
Yeah, two packs of Daima. I think both are Daima related, but it's 2 packs.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you know, we still have those characters to wait on as well for testing to make sure things go well. So we might throw out like an expedition match or something, just as a like, here's the current, you know, Buu Saga and Kaiju team or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll move on to our next question. For the first question from False God Red: are there any teams whose new additions tip them over the scale of absurd power?
I think we're keeping an eye on. I don't know if there's anyone at the moment that we can say that we would say yes, this team right here, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I would say that it's important to remember that we still have an ad drop to go, where we likely will once again be limiting, you know.
Yeah, and
like we'll be paying attention to that ad drop as well.
We'll be paying attention to it. Like there's a couple teams where we, even if we haven't said it publicly, there's about 3 to 4 teams we have said, look, there are going to be some constraints placed on you to keep you from going and becoming that. You know, as I said earlier, we're taking a more active approach this season because of there's so many things, and you know, realistically, like just with the sheer volume of changes we did our best to make sure that for the most part most characters would not escalate the power scaling. Like the reason I used stat blocks was to make sure, hey, we just don't have, you know, 16 teams full of, you know, characters doing, you know, 20k B2s unless you're spending your entire build to do that. But yeah, like there are several teams we have said, look, here's a constraint we need to place upon you. Consider that when you're doing ad drop. In part, that's due to some characters doing a bit better than expected. Some of that is there are teams that we had some surprising drops. Like, you know, we talked about Birder getting dropped, Metacooler getting dropped, and that
mid-coup.
Yeah, mid-coup getting dropped. Like there are, you know, while teams definitely played some of their drops selectively, like, you know, the thing people need to remember is it is each team's job to make their specific team the best they can. It is staff's job to make sure that every team is competitive. And if we see a team we think is not competitive, we're going to test it out and we're going to keep an eye on it. If we have to, like we have already told a couple teams, look, you cannot pick up your team exclusive if you do XYZ. Or if you want to pick them up, you have got to drop another strong character from your team. We haven't told that to everybody, but like there are several teams that we have had to do that for. Yep. So, anyone else want to add any other closing comments?
I mean, I just see a couple teams that may look a little scary, like Mal said, but like, yeah, I'm always kind of worried, like, we're going to miss something, and it's going to be, like, one team's going to be really strong, and we can't really do much, but, like, you know, we're obviously testing it, but, yeah, to make sure we don't do that, but it's always a worry in the back of your head. You know what I mean? So.
There's always also the potential that, and I mean, this is the very, very, very last extremist resort of if a team gets into the league and they are nuking everybody, that, you know, we might just have to make a change as we're going, because, you know, it's not fun if there's just a 15-0 or something like that.
Yeah,
because without too hard of work, without a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
it would take a like. There has been precedent for that when we added in the old league when we added Nova Shenron.
Yep.
He was a little tiny bit oppressive.
Yeah, and we try hard to only make change. Like, we try very hard that we keep an eye on things during the season, and we test during the season so that next season it is not a problem. And I think pretty much every time we have made a change, it fixed the problem. It's just with so many changes, you know, stuff's going to make it through, and we're just sometimes going to have to make hard decisions. And that's one reason why I keep telling people, if you see something, let us know now, because if you tell us now and we catch it, even if it takes us to add drop to fix it and release the fix, at the very least, when add drop rolls around, I make it my priority to spin out that ISO, get it to the testers so that people have time to test. Yep. Because it is extremely important to me personally that everybody feels like they had as fair a season as possible, which means for them getting time to test.
Yep, that's kind of like the situation we had with Gohan last season with the Madan that was a little more explosive than we had intended. By the time it was called out, it was already too late, where it would have been unfair,
right,
for the teams that had done the testing. So, and ultimately didn't really impact the season, thankfully.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a good point, because like the other half of that people forget is Ultimate Gohan's bug had been there since at least like 2021. So like it had been there for multiple seasons, and Gohan's had tested, or hybrids had tested adult Gohan on that, saw that was there, and chose adult Gohan based off of that. It would have been very unfair to do that to them after the fact.
Plus, other teams tested the same character.
Yeah, other teams tested the same character on Costume 1, and they still, you know. Now, granted, let's also be real. One of the reasons why hybrids got adult Gohan is because they got so much Zenny and made the sacrifice to get him, but which scared off some of the other teams from competing for him. But still, like, they did the work, and so they should get to reap the rewards, especially when that bug had been there for multiple years. So, but yeah. Anyway, all that to wrap back up and say, look, if you see something, please let me know. Like, DM me. I have already gotten responses from a couple people. From those people, thank you. It is appreciated. Your voice has been heard. I will be looking into them, and I will be making it a point to do proper 4v4 testing, because like I think yesterday or day before, Snuffy had actually posted like the current results of like team testing, and it's like, you know, Royals was like a good example is like Royals was at 85%, Busaga was at the bottom, and then I start digging into those numbers, and it's like, oh, that's because they keep fighting each other. You know, they fought each other 6 times this offseason, and Royals just won a large number of that. And so, like, the testing numbers by themselves can be skewed in a way that, because, like, when I test, I will throw Royals against everybody. So, but anyway, enough on that. So, thank you guys. So, next question from False God Red. Some of the older characters who have a -2 defense are nearly unusable now that there are more viable options for a team. Could there be a possibility of them having their defense negatives removed?
Gamma.
Gamma.
No,
No.
I think he's probably specifically talking about Kid Gohan.
I know.
Yeah, Kid Gohan. Like, not this season. I'm not speaking to future seasons because this is my last year as staff. So outside my knowledge.
So, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tested it before on Kid Gohan, and I mean, obviously, I think they made. I remember something that made the hybrids a little bit too strong, so we couldn't really do that. We couldn't give them base defense, if I remember correctly.
I think the issue with Kid Gohan was less. It was one of those things of it's hard to buff hybrids specifically because they're already a fairly strong team overall. And we do not buff like if a character is not an FA locked character, we do not buff characters individually. We buff them in the context of their team. So like with Kid Gohan, yes, Kid Gohan is very weak. He is generally on hybrids, who is a very strong team. Like, if Kid Gohan was on Rugrats, and it would be very hard to move him from Rugrats, and we took a look at Rugrats and said, hey, Rugrats as a team is really struggling, then that's a situation where we would look at buffing Kid Gohan, and we would say, hey, what's an easy buff we can do? Is, okay, he's got a defense -2. Will buffing him up to the base defense be fine? And then that's when we would make that decision. More generally, I kind of disagree with the question, number one, because most of the new characters are built within the league context in mind. That being said, there is some truth to this where because there are now more good options, it is harder to justify these weaker options, except for the fact that one of the ways we're trying to ensure league balance is that everyone has a weak character on their team. So you don't just have 5 equally strong bruisers with, maybe one of them who's an A rank or S rank character. Now you've got to carry along that C or D tier character as well.
Which we also have the FA drafting system to also help with that.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So
Ryan.
Basically, there's a lot of it's a domino effect. You make a change to a character, and then that one change could have a big domino effect on a lot of balanced stuff, and then it becomes, well, you did it for this character, why don't you do it for this character and that character? There's a lot more that goes into it than just buffing a character.
Yep.
Yeah, and with us moving to SparkingZero, I know that there was like some sort of data dump which ended up showcasing like, here's everyone's health, here's essentially everyone's like defense for SparkingZero. I don't remember like specifically what Kid Gohan would have, and it could be that our first season in SparkingZero doesn't have mods or only has like a specific mod, so any sort of like -2 character in terms of defense you might not see a change to for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys?
I'm good.
No.
Okay. Last question from False God Red. Regarding Mal's announcement that every team will have to have a weak link, will there be designations for lower class warriors, maybe even a threshold, or will we just have to ask staff when that time comes? Rule of thumb, if they're not a 40k character, like if they're struggling to hit 40k on average, that's your weak link.
Yeah, so
Yes.
for muscle it'd be like Raccoon or muscle trunks.
Mhm.
For hybrids, it might be Kid Gohan, but Kid Gohan got dropped, so
It's Saiyaman.
That's a hard. It would be Saiyaman, who
Yeah.
might, he's the weak link being 35K. That's still decent.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah. And to be clear, like this is one of the reasons why we're keeping an eye on things. And of course, like if you have questions, feel free to come and ask. I am happy to have people ask questions because I'd rather know about a potential problem now and have more time to solve it, even if and solve it now and maybe in a way that is not great, but everybody can live with, rather than having to come up with a much harsher solution later.
Right.
Because the longer people wait to bring stuff up, the more we have to go with a harsher solution to ensure the problem is solved. So, but yeah. And then we've got 2 questions from Carrick. They're pretty different, so I'm gonna treat these as two separate ones. For the modding team, which characters were the most and least interesting to create? I would probably, I can't speak for Vive and GM too much, but it was probably Goku to get the trick beam working right. And then the least interesting would probably just be some of the characters that we pretty much just only did damage tuning for them. Like a lot of the characters like Kale, Caulifla, Hit, Dispo, they didn't get a ton of customization outside of cleaning up their animations, just doing cleanup work to make them league quality, basically. And dear God, there was so much work that went into this. So yeah. But Kaio, Enemy, you guys saw a lot of the process from the outside. Which, just kind of based off what you guys saw, what do you think your answers would be for that?
Honestly, it's hard to tell because while I did see a lot of it, I didn't know. I can't say that I know exactly what went into each character type of thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think Hit seemed the most interesting with getting the time stop effects in.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really neat. Goku, we talked about it earlier in the day about the wavy beam, like the little touches that really bring them together. I think are sometimes the most impressive because they bring the whole thing together.
For me, I'm not sure. I kind of looked, but I kind of, was not really paying attention too much to that. I mean, it was like some of the cool stuff, like the trick beam and stuff was pretty cool to see the animation. Some of the cooler animation. You guys had some pretty cool animations, Like I was watching, but I can't remember. Like I said, I mean, it was kind of watching, but it was kind of what it was, not trying to spoil it too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was not staff yet, but you mentioned cool animations, and I get the feeling that Shallot, his ultimate was probably pretty fun to work with, or something like that. I imagine that I wasn't around for this, but I imagine that he would have been one of the more interesting parts of it, at least.
Yeah, I think Tosh got that as a custom. Like we knew where to get the custom animation for that from. So I think Vive just had to do some tweaks to it. Maybe. There was a lot of discussion around that one to get that in. Just a lot of back and forth there. So it was good. I like how it came out. So.
And then for me, I don't do modding. I wasn't part of the modding thing. I would probably say that, the more interesting ones are like Hit and Goku, just because they have, more uniqueness to them. Whereas somebody like Orange Piccolo, okay, that's just Piccolo, a little bigger. He's now orange. So
Yee.
somebody where it's literally just kind of a small palette swap of what their character is. Maybe they get a new move would be less interesting than like, here's a very unique character with unique moves.
Yeah. I will say his ultimate does have a really sick animation to it. But yeah.
Oh,
And
orange Piccolos?
Yeah.
That's true. It does. It's very custom, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. And then last question from Carrick. Did you run into any roadblocks when designing characters, and how did you overcome those? Probably the biggest roadblock we hit was Topo. By far, Topo was the biggest annoyance. Because, like, even with Trick Beam, like, the fallback was always just going to be, it was going to be a green full power energy wave. Topo had so many problems, and we had so many iterations of trying to get some of his stuff to work. Like, his melee is still a little janky, but when we first started with him, like, half of his melee did not hit at all. It was at the point where I was very frustrated. I'm sure Vive was frustrated with how janky it was, and it took a lot to get base Topo usable, and his base form is still on the weaker side. As I'm sure Enemy, who is now the coach of Sentai, can attest. Yes. It makes up for it because his Destroyer form is amazing. But it was a very big struggle to get base Topo to work. The biggest thing was just figuring out, a big part of the problem was the collision parameters for him. That, I think, was probably the biggest one. The second biggest roadblock was probably working with the Giants. Like, Giant Bergamo ran into several issues. Like, the biggest thing, I don't remember what they were, just because that was right around the time my kid was born, that we were finishing that up and running into those issues. So that time frame is a blur to me. I'm trying to think. A lot of the other things were, we hit several roadblocks with some of the little things, like we already talked about Trick Beam, but Geom was also just hitting some small issues here and there. Like, he was looking into doing some other small custom animations for just quality of life and to make things look really good that were difficult, that would have been really interesting, and some of them we had to abandon. If people have questions about those, ask Geom, because I don't know how much he's comfortable sharing. I think, aside from with Bergamo, we ultimately just kind of kept his moveset what it was now, because Giants can't really use too many rush B2s because of how big they are. The cameras and some of the animations just aren't sized correctly for them, and that caused some weird jankiness with them. So yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of hate base double. Like, I rather have him transform, but like it's kind of hard because it's like he only transform when he's like 20k ish, 20-30k. So it's like you get the worst version of him for like 10k, then you get the better version maybe if he decides to transform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's got 4 blast stocks, which kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is everything. Do you guys have any other questions or any other comments you want to make before we sign off?
Yes. Shout out ED, because they got Super Saiyan 2 Goku working to a crazy way, and that man's people are going to be sad they didn't use him before, because that man's has been going crazy in my tests. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I just want to say shout out to all of our testers and volunteers that have been doing a great job of keeping up with the tests and keeping everything going. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, looking at the playlist they've done, as of today, the playlist was updated to be 998 tests just for the off season.
Jesus Christ!
Wow, and we've
Let's
still
go.
got 2.5 months to go, roughly.
Right. So everyone bitching about
Record.
tests not being done quick enough can shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like legitimately, shut the hell up.
Yeah. Man, what about you, Ryan?
What about me? What?
Oh, any
Any
closing
remarks
comments?
We're working on SparkingZero. Things will be announced, obviously. I just don't know when.
Okay.
And watch out for our polls. We have polls for you to answer. Ha ha ha.
All right. What about you, Enemy?
Yeah, just make sure the polls don't mean that the team gets the lead, so vote for your team, or at least for our team. It's not going to affect really the team at the end for SparkingZero. And people are worried about that, like they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna vote for this team," but like they might get removed. But no, that's not gonna happen. So
Nah, not that deep. Not that deep.
yeah.
Not yet, at least. Maybe later this year. But
Yeah.
more seriously, I do want to shout out you guys. Thank you so much for hopping on and doing SparkingZero. I am looking forward to seeing how that turns out. For everybody else, we are looking for volunteers, especially for our graphics team. If you have any experience with that, either to doing banners, or you can just run a photo editing tool to help us do our weekly screenshots for standings or versus screens, let us know, either in the comments, join the Discord. More generally, just join the Discord anyway. We talk about a lot of stuff here. This is the first, I think this is the first Dragon Cast we've done in several months. We're not always great about doing these, and we appreciate you for hanging with us when in that time between casts. Our Discord is generally where we keep things up to date. So, but in the meantime, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Stay up to date. Even if we're not always the best about keeping it updated, we should be seeing an update in activity here on the channel, and you won't want to miss any of the many, many, many things we've got going on. But until then,
New content. New content.
but but until then, I've been Malachi, and I hope to see you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.